Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hi everyone, and how are you doing? Oops, I'm reverberating. Okay, I think I'm better now. So I just want to make sure whoever is here, I think there's a couple people in the call already. If you can just let me know if one, you can see me, and two, you can hear me okay before I continue on. So if someone would do me the favor, popping in the chat, that would be awesome. Thank you all for being here. Going live is always an interesting thing when you're just not sure. Thank you, Allison. Yay. Okay. Because you just, thank you all. Yay. Because you just don't know. It's like, you're talking into the void. So thank you all for coming. And so today I am going to be playing in my junk journal, and I'll put my hands on in the spotlight in a minute. But for those that are new to me, if you are new, some I can see that you are not new. You are people that, from my community and been here for a while, which is awesome. Thank you. This is just a way to peek inside me working and me talking about my Creative Playground membership. I really love that membership. It is a lot of fun. It's all about play and curiosity, lots of different types of techniques, but they're very much centered around mixed media and art journaling, just because that is the current love for me. And we are at the beginning of a free taster week for the playground, and that is why I'm here live, just to explain who I am and what I do and show you how I work. So I'm going to play first, and then I have a couple things to share about the taster week. So if you have some supplies, get yourself organized. And I have a tickle in my throat, so excuse me while I get a drink of water. But what I wanted to play in today was my junk journal, which is one of the lessons that's exclusive to the Creative Playground membership. I teach how to make this journal, okay? It's fairly simple. Many of you, if you make journals, probably already know how to make it. It is butterfly stitched with waxed linen thread, which you can see there. And it has 3 signatures to it. And it is like very much just junk, magazine pages and all kinds of things that were lying around. And then within the membership as well, I have a lot of videos of me working in the journal itself. And there's also another live that I did in October of me working in this journal as well. So I just love the concept of having pages that are kind of funky and a little wonky, and they're not squared off. You never know what you're going to be able to do in them. So if you want to play along, you can grab your journal or some paper, and I have my watercolor kit handy. I always have some rubber stamps. I love to hand carve stamps, so I have a ton of rubber stamps and some black ink. I grabbed some stencils from my gigantic collection of stencils that I have, and some makeup sponges. I'm going to stencil, if I stencil, because I'm kind of just playing off the top of my head today. I'm going to stencil with watercolor. I did not pull out any acrylic paint, so I'm going to do watercolor. And then I have a bunch of ephemera and stuff that, sits in a drawer that I'm going to play with. One of which, if you have not, this is not the exact samples, but my latest video here on YouTube is about making your own washi tape with masking tape. So if you want to check that out later, please do. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do that, because then you get notifications about when I put a new video up, which is pretty much every Thursday. Sometimes life happens, but that's the general gist. And so, yeah, I just pulled up a bunch of things because I don't know what I want to do in here. I tend to flip through it and see, you know, if something, a page sparks an interest or, you know, makes me want to go, oh, let's cover that. Do I want to do a little tiny page? Do I want to do a double page spread? This is another one of the really fun ones. It's a double page, but the pages don't match up, which is super fun. Lydia, hello, love. Yay. So Lydia, if it is possible to put the link to your channel in the chat, will you do that for me, for everyone? Lydia is a friend and co-artist, and her channel is delightful. So if you have the ability to do that, put it in there and y'all can go follow her. So I'm not sure what I want to do. Actually, I kind of like this idea of one side having something on it and then one side being completely blank. Oop, there's some more work that I did. You never know what you're going to find in this journal. It's something I dip in and out of all the time. So when I'm working on, if I'm working on a page like this and I'm deciding that I want it to be a double page spread, one of the things that I have to contend with is the fact that there's color on this page and there's absolutely nothing on this page. Now, that could be fine. You could just start, you know, gluing stuff down and just let it be. But one of the things I like to do is just find ways to take some of the color from this page and stick it onto this page. That way it can, you know, it tends to start marrying the two pages together. So what I might do first is just start with watercolor. Let me grab a bigger brush. And I have my watercolor, you know, little cheat sheet here so that I can see if any of the colors kind of match. You know, like this dark green is kind of along the lines of this dark green, which is delightful. So, of course, I always have to figure out, oh, this one. Here's the watercolor, and I have to line it up. There's 100 colors in here, so, you know, you never know. So I'm going to add some color onto this page. This, by the way, feels like just printer paper. If you've been around me long enough, you know that I do not care what paper I work on, but I will always tell you, if you're struggling with watercolor, don't practice on printer paper. Practice on good watercolor paper or mixed media paper, because if not, you'll fight yourself as you learn. I tend to just like to try things and see what happens. So it doesn't really matter to me. I'm one of those crazy souls that's like, whatever's floating around, I'll try it. All right, so I've got some grays and blacks in here. So maybe we can pull some of them in as well. And I'm going to add stuff on top of this, but I just want to get some color down. And of course, because it's printer paper, it's also pulling whatever's behind it. So I have some red here. It might stay, it might not. What if it does? So I'm gonna just come in, oops, well, this is shiny. So that is also a consideration with my watercolor, that this is shiny, so the water's beading. All right. But it is also a way just to take that little smidge and see, we'll just add it on. And so I tend to run the paint across. Okay, so I've gotten a layer down, so that's fun. And then I'm gonna start looking in my stuff to see if there's anything that looks interesting or and I'm going to want to see if I can let it dry a little bit so I don't have to mute you all just to pull the hot glue gun. Not hot glue gun. Jeez, I don't want a hot glue gun anything today, people. My heat gun up. So, but is there anything interesting on some of the papers that might be fun? I kind of like, this looks like a ticket. Now, I can also play off the fact that this image, which is sideways, obviously, is of someone rock climbing. So is that interesting? Do I want to play off that? Do I care about rock climbing? Well, yes, I do. I find that fascinating. So, could this be, like a ticket to that? The other thing this does, which I've just realized as I lay it down, was it plays off the color of her skin. Okay, she has a darker brown color skin. This has a little bit darker brown. And so those colors, now, if I put this down on this page, will start to draw your eye and tie those two together. Okay, I do have to hit it with the heat gun because it's not drying. So hang on while I mute you for a second. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I like that idea, so I'm going to hang on to that. I also pulled out, and I want to make sure that I'm, completely transparent with this. I did not choose this page ahead of time. I did not choose the ephemera ahead of time. I just I'm letting it be what it is. And it's something that I encourage you to do, just to use your curiosity and playful and try things. But now that I've realized I'm using someone who is rock climbing, I like the idea of adding these gears on. Not necessarily that we use gears when we rock climb, but there's carabiners and there's equipment. So the gears can then start tying into perhaps a story that I am unconsciously trying to tell. Okay, so I'm going to pull some of those. One of the things I've discovered as I art journal is that I don't always go into it with a plan. I go into it with a plan of playing, like that's my plan. It's just a play. And then as I play and let things happen and react to one thing after another, then sometimes a story starts to emerge. Sometimes I'm trying to work something out in my head and I just didn't know what I was trying to do. And sometimes it's literally about the fact that I wanted to, glue something down or play with paint or try out a new rubber stamp or, play along with someone's video. That can be what it's all about. It doesn't have to be anything bigger than that. Okay, so what else do I have here? It's hilariously funny that Lydia's here today because I pulled out, you guys can't see it, but it's a piece of I think it's laminate. And in her class that she taught in my playground, we used a piece of laminate as a flap, as a tip-in. And I'm like, oh, and here she is today. So I think we're going to definitely use this as a tip-in somehow. So let me cut that and we'll play off of that. See, sometimes the universe just sets you up for stuff like that. Could even be that I use this ticket somehow on there. So I'm just playing and seeing what do I want to pull in. Ooh, I love this. Again, this is pulling in the little bit of the red that I pulled up and her skin color, which is awesome. Is also pulling in the rocks. I love that this has been a couple pieces of this are punched out. So let's see if that makes it fun. I don't know what this paper is. It's a very thin paper. This was an ephemera pack that I got from someone. So I don't even know what this is, but it's delightful. I'm going to put this down and emphasize her hands, I think. So, Lydia, you've charmed me with the laminate. I need some more sparkly things. I need some glitter to put in my laminate, but I'm gonna work on that. So if you're playing along with me, I'd love if you told me. If you're just watching for inspiration, that's awesome. I'm happy that you're here. It's always nice to have someone on a live because it's a little nerve-wracking, like I said, to go live and feel like you're chattering to yourself, which I find hilarious because when I create videos for y'all, I'm recording and chattering to myself. So what does it really matter? I can just pretend I'm chattering to myself. All right, this paper is delightful, whatever it is. So I think I'm going to glue some more of it down. Awesome. I'm glad you're playing along. Yay, y'all. Take any time you can to be creative. 5 minutes is one of my mantras. You need 5 minutes. You don't need a ton of time. I just finished a challenge on Instagram with my friend Shemi Dixon called Start With a Mark, which was literally that. Every day make a mark. Here's a prompt. And it didn't have to be anything crazy, or it could literally be 1 second, make a mark. All right, so I'm going to glue this down because the other thing that when I'm trying to tie 2 pages together is crossing anything that I'm working on. If it's stenciling or rubber stamping, if you can cross that center line, your eye will start to travel back and forth, okay? Just a little tip there for you. Watching is good. Hanging is good. So one of the ways that I think I can tie her, the band and the black, like the gray black on her dress, and then she has a band on her, is to put down some of these gears, and that will extend her into this page. So I'm talking out loud as I'm doing this so that you see how my brain is working. However, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be as thinking through each piece like I'm saying out loud. It could just be, ooh, fun, glue, ooh, fun, glue. That's fine. It can be as fun as, as simple as that. It doesn't have to be anything thought through. If you want to spend some time thinking through what you're doing, that's awesome. But don't let it, hold you up from working or playing or doing something. What's the worst that can happen? You glue something down, you don't like it, and you cover it up. Because what if you glued something down and it was just delightful and you're like, ooh. If you don't like it, try something else. All right, I'm going to put a gear in this one because I like that her hand is exposed in that, but this one is kind of boring. So we'll put a gear there. Ooh, fun. I love that. Miss Caroline, my mother, is on the call. She's just observing. Okay, so I'm going to pick up some more paint. I've put it down. Oh, where is it? There it is. The reason being is that I want to, where is this color? Let's see, this color is, I think here. I want to just add some color. I'm trying to find the same color I used before. This one. To see if I can extend it out a little bit and tie some of this all together. I call it, bleeding things. This is bleeding things into each other. And it just helps me visually tie that together. It's not like it has to happen, but it felt right to me. even going over some of these. This was deli paper. So can I go over some of that deli paper and blend it back in? And sometimes you just leave it where it is and let it be. But I'm a fan of, just if it feels like it's too stiff, then I'll just take some of the color and kind of bleed it out into the page. The other thing I want to do is I'm also playing off of what's underneath this. So let me just grab, sometimes visually that can throw me. So if I do that for both of them, it gives you a better feel for what it looks like. Okay, now I feel like I need some white. So here's my thought process. There's some white on this side. There's a white down here, but I feel like I could use some white maybe up in here. So I'm gonna grab my gesso. That is my version of white paint. And one of my stencils, and it's very dark is where I'm going with this. It's very dark, and I would like to lighten it up a little bit. I don't want to lose my cover. And I'm looking for my stencils, which I conveniently, there they are. Okay, so I have this mandala-y looking one. I have this one that looks like flowers. I have some words. I have this. Now that's kind of fun. I'm almost thinking this one. Then I have an arrow and the words one way, and some pieces that could look like rock. That's interesting. I pulled a face that has some patterns in the background, so lots of options on that one. But now that I'm working on this piece that has to do with rock climbing and gears, and we could go even deeper with resilience, strength, perseverance, it can go, maybe that's what I'm working on. I like this because one looks like trees. I don't know if you would see trees in this, but I'm seeing, it's like a chevron pattern, but like tall trees. And then I like the idea of this one with texture because it's kind of mimicking this. So maybe both. All right. So I'm gonna grab a sponge here. And I got a makeup sponge and just some white gesso. And all I'm gonna do is just see what happens. Again, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but we'll find out, won't we? Kind of looks like computer code. Not sure that's the way I'm going with this, but that's okay. Maybe I'm trying to say something about computers or AI, or get off your computers and go outside. How about that? Get off your devices, go outside, go rock climbing. So now that I've put it on this side, obviously I'm committed of sorts. So I'm going to put some on the other side. So even if I found this to be, I know my head's in the way, even if I found this to be like, I would still put it in a couple different places so that if it doesn't all get covered up because it's then it doesn't look like, oh, you just stuck something over there. I like to do things in odd numbers. I like to do things in sets of 3s. So if I do something once, you can bet a lot of money that I'm going to put it somewhere else at least 2 more times. Okay. So now that I've put some on the orange, I like how that's softening the chunks of orange. This is a very thin, skinny pattern. So it's not, if you wanted to do something where it looked really neat stenciling, well, first of all, I'm not the person for you, but my stenciling is never neat. I use it as just visual texture. I just like it as pattern. So I'm not necessarily trying to make it, even when I stencil a word, I tend to not even worry too much about it. So it brightens it up a little bit. And so anywhere there's, as I'm looking and it's like too bright, or too dark, or not too bright, too dark, or something like a hard edge is bothering me visually, that's where I'm going in and adding some stenciling. Okay, so it brightens it up a little bit for me. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is, one, I have to let this dry for a second. So I'm gonna just push it forward, but I still want to use this as a tip-in. I'm not sure why. I just have a brain that says use it as a tip-in. So I'm going to stencil on the acetate and use this pattern. And I said I wasn't going to use acrylics, but I am going to have to use acrylics. The reason being is that it's acetate. The watercolor will just bead all over it. So I'm going to go in, and I think I'm going to try and find a green. This antique teal maybe, that's similar in color. Sorry, y'all can't see my piece anymore. That's similar in color to this background. I also told you that when I looked at this, I saw trees. Okay. So I'm going to play off that idea and see what happens. I don't have it glued down yet or attached to the page. Let's see if I can find it here. So it's not that important. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Trying to see where so the acetate, don't forget, the acetate is also, the acrylic paint will stick to the acetate, but it can come off if you just scrape your fingernail across it. However, that doesn't matter to me because this isn't meant to be precious. It's meant to be me having a good time. And once I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I turn the page. All right, so let's see. Okay, oops, you guys can't see. That would be helpful that I bring this forward. Okay, so you can't see a ton of it. It probably could be darker. So what if I grab some orange and I'm going to offset this slightly and add some orange to it and see what happens. I might even end up going so far as to add some white as well. Again, don't know, just trying. All right, let's see. Flip it up slightly. I'm also trying to not to be super thick with the paint because I would like it not to take forever to dry. I don't want to put the heat gun on a piece of acetate if I can avoid it. again, helpful if you could see it. It just makes it, it's like tread. Oh, that's what it looks like, tread. More than trees. All right, and then I'm also going to add some white on top. So again, if it looks like tread, is it the tread of her shoes? Is it the tread of the vehicle she drove? Don't you love my story? I'm making up stories here. But that's what makes it fun and interesting. You just never know. Why can't you, art journal around a story that you're making up in your head too? Okay. Put this back. I think I'm good with what it's doing. Yeah, that's fun because I can see things through it, but it gives it, it's just another layer of some texture, which I really love. All right. So the other thing I have, so I have to attach this somehow. We just want to give it a second to dry. I think everything on here is dry. I still have that ticket, maybe. Ooh, I also have this this little sticker says my life. Love it. So what happens when you move things around? I don't know where the ticket went to. Don't you love this, people? Oh, there it is. It's underneath me. All right, so it's I'm not really, yeah, it looks like a ticket. So maybe it's the ticket to get into where she is. I need some washi tape, so I'm going to look at my handmade washi tape, which is under here somewhere. Oh, here. Okay, so this is a set that I had made before. These colors are kind of fun. Okay, so now I have a little flap. Put a little piece underneath too. This washi tape, by the way, it was done on like a plastic bag, and I'm fine getting the masking tape off, but I know that others have had trouble getting it off of their plastic bag. So if you make your own washi tape, one, either use like an acetate sheet, or I've had someone tell me they've used parchment paper and that worked really well as well, or a sheet protector because they don't rip as easy as the plastic bags do. Okay. So there you go, hot tip for you. All right, I'm gonna glue this down. And so another thing I want to say while I'm making this page is that you might be watching me. This is something I share a lot. I say this over and over again because I think it's really important as creatives, and creatives who sometimes struggle with what to do or sit and watch videos of other people, is that you might not have liked anything that I did on this page. You might have not understood my reasoning behind it, or wouldn't have chosen those colors. And I think that's awesome. I think it's important that when you watch other people, that you don't have to love everything they're doing. I think it's fun to watch what someone's doing and going, ooh, I wouldn't have done that. And then the next thing you have to ask yourself is, what would I have done differently? Where would I have taken it? Where would I have stopped? Where would I have continued? What section did I love? Why did I watch it? Why did I watch this? What drew me to it, but then what said, oh, not that. So that's how we grow and how we learn and move forward in our art practices, is to question Why did I like something? Why don't I like something? Even within your own work. So if you were to look at this page, we'll use this as an example, and you were like, oh, I'm not in love with it. Okay, that's awesome. But is there something on the page that you are in love with? It literally could be, you know what I really love? I love the fact that there's a bit of purple on this washi tape. Great. Grab something that is that purple. If it's yours, if you created it, then you know what that color is. Even if it's not, something in that color scheme, and move it across the page. Does it get better? Yes or no? If you're like, yes, okay, so it was the purple. Is there something else you like? Expand on it and keep going with that. It doesn't have to be that you love everything. It could be that you just love one thing. I pull this down and there's a brighter orange here. Maybe what this page needed was a brighter orange as opposed to this darker orange. I should have maybe added. I'm not saying that I would or not. I'm just saying that, these are some thoughts to have as you're creating. All right, so then I found this sticker. I have no idea where it came from, but it is now going to be my title. So my word for the year is the word tend, T-E-N-D. I'm tending to my health, my art practice, my art business. And today it was funny. I have these letters. I'll show you. They're here. Someone gave them to me. They're Scrabble pieces with the word tend. And I have them up on a shelf above my studio table here. And I move them over to above a note that I have so that my eye would be drawn to the note so that I remember to tend to what that note was saying. So it's possible that in part of my, noodling today about tending to this item, I was playing with the fact that I need to tend to something in my life. And, I'm a big believer in the universe is speaking to you all the time. Like, do we listen? Is it whispering? Is it slamming you in the face? Mine's, universe likes to hit me in the face every once in a while if I'm not paying attention. And so, I pay attention in my art journals. Is it trying to talk to me? Am I trying to learn something? Maybe it is as literal as, you have talked about going to the rock climbing gym in town 1,000,000 times. Perhaps you should set a date with your husband and go. Okay. So let your art journal be play, and also see if it starts talking to you. Is it got something to say? Thanks, Kim. The gears, just so that FYI for everyone, the gears were something I found online, like a clip art, and then I dragged them into either Photoshop or Canva or whatever program. You pull it into Word if you want to, and then I printed them on deli paper because I will do that to my printer. I take deli paper and tape it around a regular piece of cardstock and then shove it through my printer. So there's my page. I'm actually thinking the page is fun. I like it. I don't need her to have a head because the gears tend to take it and the gears travel. And then I have a fun little flap. I love it. Me too. Me too, Lydia. I love it. And then I pull it out and it blends into the rest of what's there, which is really beautiful because now I've got on this side, I love how this happens. On this side, I've got orange. Obviously, I have a blank sheet that at some point I have to do, but I've got orange and it visually goes to the orange. I've got some of this green and pink that ties into it, and then this into the greenery. And that is unintentional, but it's also nice to look at your pages and see. Kind of keeps telling a story outside of it, which is really nice. You could even continue into the night sky, which that one was about. Fabulous! My God, totally love this. So, I hope you enjoyed watching me create out loud. And I wanted to, if you have questions about anything I did, please let me know in the chat. I do want to just talk a little bit about, the other reason for being here today. And I'm just going to pop in my graphic. Here's my graphic. And that is my Creative Playground membership. Lydia, the person that we keep talking about here in the chat, was one of my guest teachers. I have quarterly guest teachers that come and teach in addition to me because I feel that we can learn from lots of different people. So I think that's awesome. Thank you, Pam. And thank you, Lydia. And Kim, thank you. As I'm seeing the chat, y'all, I can always see the chat going live. It comes behind schedule. So my playground, my membership, is a lot about giving yourself freedom. These little quotes underneath here: 5 minutes always count, curiosity and experimentation can be your teachers, limited supplies and a beginner's mind are enough. These are stuff that I really, really, really believe in, that you have to try, you have to do things, you have to fail, you have to make mistakes, you have to look at other people and take ideas and, kind of incorporated them into your own, like allow others also to be teachers to you. Look at their work, don't copy their work necessarily, but what is it that you love about it? One of the things, that drew me to Lydia's work was how she layers so beautifully, so much stuff. I cannot do that. It's not that I can't, it's not my style, but it drew me to her work and it gets me to think about layering more, how she does it with her collage. So what can you take from people? 5 minutes. You cannot win an argument with me as far as time, because you can find 5 minutes. I have even gone so far as to tell people that you need to put a Post-it note and a pen in the potty, okay? Post-it note, pen, potty. In the bathroom, you're sitting, peeing, you have a minute. Doodle something on a Post-it note, you have been creative. It can be as simple as that. Because once you get started and start doing more and more, then the habit starts to build. So that's part of what my membership is about, is encouraging you and inspiring you to find those little 5 minutes and using simple supplies and coming at it from a very big beginner's mind. That, it's all possible. Okay, so there was a couple questions before I pop to the next thing. Great colors. I love adding a napkin. Ooh, stencils work. That was awesome. Is my journal pamphlet stitched? Yes, it is. I guess that would be pamphlet stitched. I call it the butterfly stitch. So it has, and Tammy, there's a video for this. So you can pop it in the playground and go see me stitching it together. I'm trying to find the in. So it is, oh, sorry. let me pop to my hands. It is 3 holes, so I don't know if this is considered pamphlet stitched, maybe. 3 holes where you come in one, out the other, up the top, back through the middle, okay? I've always referred to it as the butterfly stitch, so hopefully that helps, Tammy. Okay, yes. So a couple different ways to say that. Awesome. Okay, so if you are interested in Taster Week, then there is a link below here for you to go in and play. There is a classroom. It's like a sampler classroom so that you can go in. It's literally you're watching videos. I give you access to quite a bit of things, some of the printables, some of the old play dates, and so that you can actually see what the classroom is like and what the teaching is all about. We do a lot of live events in the classroom, in the membership as well. We get together about 2 to 3 times a month. Some are recorded, some are just get-togethers where we chat and do art. And people can pick my brain. That's also why I'm there. I am a creativity coach, so that is part of my job, is to be your coach and cheerleader and help you with that. But there is an open studio on January 25th if you wanted to come and have any questions, and that's a good place to ask them. And if you want to just come and have community and play with your art supplies, then that's fine too. So that would be awesome. Okay. And so the other thing that is this is the Taster Week. I change the graphics every time I do it. This is my 3rd Taster Week, also my last. And I changed the graphics to the season we're in. So the last one was all fall. This one is all winter. And so there is a discount code in the Taster Week classroom for you to get a free month of the membership when you join. If you join with the month to month, you would get the free month. It's $18. If you join as a full year, then you get $18 off the $180, which gives you 3 free months for that year, which is a fabulous deal, if I don't say so myself. So there's that. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, this is also, my membership is closing. Not closing completely. Open enrollment is closing at the end of January, and then it will open again at the end of April, beginning of May, and it will have a different price point. So this is the last time that the membership will be offered at the $18 $180 price point. So if you're interested in that, once you join, the price is yours. Whatever price you join at, you have it until you no longer are a member. If you stay a member, then the price stays the same, which is delightful. So just keep that in mind, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with me for 45 minutes and playing along or just watching. I hope it got you some inspiration, that you try to go back into your art journal and just try a little something, or grab a Post-it, a pen, and the potty. It seems I have something there that you can just do a little doodle and call it creativity for the day. Okay. So if there are no questions, or if you have questions, you can always email me. That's absolutely fine. And you can find me in the DMs on Instagram. That's always a good thing too. So thank you all so much for coming. Okay. Thank you all very much. We'll see you soon.